Top of the morning to you. Hey, I'm Michael. Grandkids call me Roo. Thanks for being on. It's July 2nd. Is that right? It is the 2nd today? It is July 2nd. That means tomorrow's the 3rd. Some of you will have, in fact, I do have family over. Just one of those strange things that happens. Usually never on the 4th do we have family in. They're all in between somewhere. One family's come back from Colorado. One's getting ready to go to Colorado. So they're all going to gather tonight at the house for dinner. So I'm going to crank up the grill, which means that it'll rain about, I don't know, about 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock when I start smoking some ribs out there. Purchased some hickory yesterday, so I'm ready to roll. Hey, I hope you're well. Thanks for being on here this morning. I stayed up way too late visiting and seeing photographs and catching up with some of the kids. And I pray that you're well and doing fine. I like that piece of music. I want to hear it again. As a matter of fact, if I can remember what I was playing. Shucks, I think I was playing this. Yeah, that's a great piece of music. So a happy morning to you. Jason Nicholas, thanks for being on, man. Got a package that's supposed to leave here today. We'll see if I can get it wrapped the way I want it to be wrapped. I'm shipping you a little oil painting when it's my first and only oil painting, so it's on the way. Randall Taylor Craven, well, it's not on the way yet. It's on my desk with plastic around it already. Randall Taylor Craven, thanks. Morning to you. Jean Ann Thalzer, thanks for being on. Kathy Morrow, Karen Binder, Chris Whitaker, Jim and Jason. Pat Brooks, welcome always, my friend. Deborah Lynn Tauber, Catherine Brousseau, Barbara Mayer, Carol Tard Mundy. Mindy, I think I put some, you should have, no, I put some things in the mail for you, I think yesterday or the day before. I had to chase the postman down. Deborah Spangler, Lynn Swain Brown, thanks for being on. Cam Lawson, Karen Marie Pikert, thanks for being on. Good morning and a happy 4th. Thank you all for that. Donna Sell Barton, love it, love it, love it. Donna, I thought of you. I'll show you why if I remember. If not, it's a sketch of a bee, but you'll know why in a minute that it reminded me of you. Sharon Clark, Kalana Couch, thanks for being on the show. I'm so glad you guys are here. June Jones, yes, the book, and I'm out. There's some other people who want books, and the coloring book, and they're supposed to be coming to me, so I'm sorry those are taking so long. You know, everything's delayed right now. As a matter of fact, you can't even fly out of somewhere. You might as well drive. So just a crazy world we live in right now with it's still feeling the supply chain things that are messed up here and there. So I'll get you some books in here, and you can usually always get one quicker from me Probably from Amazon, one book. When I order quite a few, I don't know why it slows it down, but it does. Susie DeLay, Fern Skelly. So June, there's a bug out bag in that bag. It's also coming to you. I made it on time, and I plan to stay the whole time, Skeeter Powell says. Well, Skeeter, we just want to take our hat off to you, but then I'm not wearing a hat, so I'll just tip. My hair's pulled back, actually. So I'm glad you're on the show, man. Look forward to seeing you later this early fall. Yeah. Donna Buckley, John Robert Small, thanks for being on. Kim Sheets, Virginia Man. Heather Chapman-Kuhlman, look at all you people. Amy Roach, blessings to you. Sue Kane. Jane Gillette, on the road to Iowa. Whoa, on the road to kingdom come. Tizzy Chambers, morning to you. My Knoxville classmate from way back in the days of yore. Glad you're here. All right, Linda Schleitning, thank you for being on the show. Here we go. Let's paint a little bit. Deborah Kromka. Hey, they're from New Jersey. Well, Debbie, thank you for being to New Jersey. Yeah, I like driving instead of flying. Enjoy the back roads. Yeah, isn't that fun? All right, hey, let's do. I started a little painting here this morning while I was just sitting at the desk. Here it is. It's sort of a 4th of July. It's an old time rocket. Can you see what I've done here? And this is a huge piece of paper I've started on. Yeah, it's huge. It's probably 4 by 3.5, something like that. One of the old time rockets, and you see it's got an open window here so you can see what's in it. It wouldn't be much of a drawing if it wasn't, but these are all bees and they're all dressed in red, white, and blue, and you get the gist. It's going to go up and it's going to break open in the sky, and then they're going to buzz and swarm everywhere. So it's just a crazy idea that I did. I think this might count as one bee. I don't know. I probably won't count it, but I haven't come up with the whole caption yet because I'm going to have to write. I'm gonna have to write an explanation around it, but I'll figure it out. It's a fun little thing. And notice what I've done with the red paint here. And I'm going to talk to you about painting today. How weird is that? That we'd be on a painting show, and I'd talk to you about painting. But I kind of give myself a little bit of a talking to in the middle of the summer, because summer can get slow and sluggish and hot and tiring. If you live where we live, and so what it does is I think it affects your creativity, and you just go, I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I want to do that. And so people ask me interesting questions. They ask me things like, so you're Roodoodles? And some people I bump into, and I'll say, yeah. And they say, so you just paint? And I go, what do you mean I just paint? What do you mean? What do you mean I just paint? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it to sound like that. No, I'm just asking, do you mean, did I just wake up in the morning and say, oh my gosh, I'm going to go paint something brilliant? Well, kind of does it work that way? No. Does anything that you do like that? I'll say, do you play an instrument? Well, I used to play the piano. So do you just play the piano? No. I said, well, do you play when you love it? Do you play when you feel good? Do you play when you feel bad? Do you play when do you play the best? Well, I don't play as much as I should. And I go, then I don't paint as much as I should. So you see the gist that I'm heading through this morning. So here's a couple of things that I came up with that I thought you might be interested in knowing. I don't know why Good News Rue is up here. It's held over from another page. We're not on that page. Happy Saturday, Terry Tardy. Thank you for being on the show. And Teresa Emmerich, glad you're all here. All right, so love to you all. Ruth Fulton, happy to have you here too. Ruth, we're getting ready to celebrate our independence, but we know from the green fields of Ireland, we pray that you are celebrating something today. Maybe it's a good cup of tea, and it's the fact that you guys have some freedoms too, and you have the freedom to look at beautiful country. So you and Sue Kane, who are on the show, I know from International today, blessings to both of you from across the pond, as they say. So, Lisa Predecessor, thanks for being on the show. Mary Hamilton. Susie DeLay, she made it. There we go. All right. And there's Lori Stanley Handelmeyer Henderson, okay? It's my birthday month. Woohoo! All right. I love that. Jamie Ziegler, thanks for being on. I'm just a realtor here in Florida. I get it. Yes. Oh, you're just a realtor? Yeah, that's all I do. Okay. Yeah, isn't that funny when people say that? And you know my story, right? It's in Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle about the lady said, "Oh, you paint roosters? Is that all you paint?" And I go, well, yeah. And this was like 8 years ago when I was doing this little opening one night. And she said, "Well, how boring." And I said, "Well, what do you paint?" She said, "Well, I don't paint anything." And I said, "No, no, you want to talk boring? That's boring." And she was like, she was almost offended, but she didn't think I'd be offended by what she said. So sometimes, this is the advantage of being an old man. You just go, "Well, how boring." Then I said, but I just turned the tables in the book. You can read the story, Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. And I said, then you need to buy one of my roosters, because everybody knows in the South, if you don't have a rooster hanging in your kitchen, that is trauma, drama, and bad luck. And she just looked at me like, "Oh my gosh, what have I stepped into here?" And I said, you stepped in it. And so basically, I said, "You have to buy one of mine." She said, "Well, I only purchase fine art." And I said, "Then there you have it. This is fine to me." And so that's kind of how you just have to attack the art world sometimes. So I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about art as I paid something this morning. And and so let me just get it off my chest, because it's Saturday morning and I want you to be creative, but I want you to know this. Listen very carefully. Not to offend you. I don't know you well enough to offend you. I do know some of you pretty well just from your comments and what you chase and what you like and what you don't like. But I want you to hear this. Some of you have followed me on this page since I started. God bless you for that. Some of you are just finding me. God bless you for that. In fact, bless all of you for even being here, showing up to think a tweak of a bit creatively. I think that's masterful in who you are and your personality and what comes next. I think creativity is set into ourselves, and we hold it back because we're thinking that we're supposed to do something far more important sometimes. And so I think that's why I started off with this question. You just paint? And I'll go, yeah, and that's enough. And they go, "Well, no, I heard you were a storyteller." "Well, that's enough too." "And I heard you could build things." "Well, that's enough too." "And I heard you play the guitar." "Well, that's enough too." So what, you have all these things, and I don't seem to do anything. I said, "No, what do you do with your time?" I always said I wanted to play the piano, and we had a piano in our house, at this very house, for 17 years. That sat in the same spot. It's still outside in the garage. It's a great place for a baby grand, isn't it? But it's set in the bar. It took up a lot of space. All my other instruments were stored either on top of it or under it. And then when the lid was tipped it up, under it. And it was on the way to the bar, or in the bar, this little bar, step down, small little room, really. So it's crushed in the corner. But it was on the way to our master bedroom. And so, which I don't even think you can call master bedroom anymore, politically incorrect or something. I'm going like, if you're a realtor, hang that one on your ear and just go, it's a room in the house. Grow up, people. So was that a political comment I think I just made, which I make very few of, but it's the master bedroom at my house. And so, and Carol can be the master of it if she wants, and I'll master it sometimes, and neither one of us master it very well because my closet needs to be cleaned out. The point is, on my way to that bedroom, I would think sometimes, maybe twice a year, I should learn to play that piano. I should have listened to my mom and continued to play. And I will maybe reach over and just go, ba-dum. We even had it tuned several times, thinking that if I walk by and I hit it and it's out of tune, but if it's in tune, I might pick it up. A couple times my son would come in and he would play something by ear. A guest, a young lady lived with us for several months, and she played. It was fascinating. A friend of mine came over and I said, "Play something before dinner." He did. I would walk by, and there were times that I wouldn't even touch it. And I kept thinking, I should learn to play the piano. I should learn to play the piano. And you know what? I really didn't. And I never did, and I never have. And people ask me now, is there anything you haven't done? I mean, you're and I'm saying older, and they go, yeah. I said, is there anything you haven't done? And I say, yes. I've never played piano at Carnegie Hall. And they go, oh my gosh, are you going to do that? And I go, well, no, first I'd have to learn to play the piano. And then I'd have to get to New York, and I'd have to be invited to Carnegie Hall. So there's probably a lot of things that are keeping me from that. But when people say, you just paint, I go, you bet I do. But there's reasons that I paint. I think Bob Ross had it right. It was never really about the painting. It's about connecting with people. If you pick nothing up from this show, pick this up. this summer as you're away from your normal job, or as you're traveling, or as you're vacation with your family, as you're going to the grocery store, as you're leaning over the back fence, as you're out to eat. It's never really about the meal out. It's about connecting, and it's about people. It's about who you're enjoying the meal with across the table. It may be the waiter or the waitress. We bump into young people all the time and we say, "How long you been in this city?" "Oh, just 6 weeks." "What brings you here?" "Well, my dad was transferred here from this." And said, "But what about you? What do you want to do?" And next thing you know, we're having a conversation with someone. And I know that doesn't make the managerial staff of the restaurant important, but I'll tell you one thing, they need to get over it. It's not about them just making the dollar of serving me a piece of shrimp that I could have caught myself, or have friends ship me from Florida. It's about community. And so this show has been about community, and God bless you for making that happen for me. But but as you think of what you're going to paint, as you want to do, and what is it that brings you to the piece of paper and that you really want to paint? So people say, "Gosh, I just wish I could paint flowers." Okay, then stop painting anything but flowers for 6 months and just paint flowers. Paint the same flower. Paint a black-eyed Susan. Paint a iris. Well, those are tough. Paint a rose. Paint something. Some of you are doing daisies. Some of you are doing pom-pom daisies. Some of you are doing buttercups. Whatever it is, wildflowers. If that's what you want to paint, start painting those for 6 months. Read about flowers. Study flowers. Buy a book on flowers. No, you better yet go to the library and check out bunches of books on flowers. Wildflowers. And then decide your style. And then go talk to people who paint flowers. But here's what you got to do. You can't walk past the flower patch and not paint them. You can't walk past the piano and not play it. Find a place where you can paint every day. Listen, there's several thousand people who are part of this community of Roodoodles. There's like 900 or more on Roo's crew, I think, maybe more than that today. And there's several thousand people who follow Roodoodles. But there's only about 50 or 60 of you who really say, "I want to paint." And then out of that 50 or 60, there's probably only about another 20 of you who work at it a little bit. And then there's probably another 7 or 8 who really say, "I want to be an artist." And you're thinking, "Well, you're kind of clipping my wings here a little bit." No, I'm just pushing you a little bit to say, choose something and move on it this year. I'm pushing this out for the Patreon people. The Patreon people who decided to support me have already said, "I've agreed that I'm going to be a better artist next year." Well, you have to start this year to be a better artist next year. And so they're putting in the effort, and they're doing the homework, and they're pushing. So some of you maybe need that discipline. Some of you can probably create that discipline on your own, but you just need somebody to push the pendulum for you. Today, I'm pushing it to all of you. If you want to be a part of Patreon, that's great. If you want to do it on your own, that's great. But if you want to be an artist, then you're going to have to show up at your desk and pick up some paint and some water or some oil or some acrylic, whatever you want to do. I do water because I'm ADD, ADHD. I'm fast brain, and I want it to dry fast, and I want to move on to the next one. I want it to tell a story. I want it to connect, and then I want to go on to something else. And that's just how my brain fires. And so why roosters for me? Some of you want to know. Well, my name is Han. It means rooster. You guys probably know that. It's a style that I love. I can use all the colors that I want. Nobody complains if I paint a rooster with green in it, or blue, or yellow, or red. All those colors are there. Go look at roosters and see. The other thing is just the caricature and the character of the rooster makes me laugh. There's something about how they strut. They remind me of myself. I'm arrogant. I got an ego. It's why I do a show. I do it because I love art. But the other thing is I've always been a storyteller. The roosters are one of my domains, farm bard. They're the poets. I love poetry. I love words that come together. I love writing and connecting things. I love songs. Throughout the history, the rooster has crowed and been noisy and raucous and, "Hey, I'm here." And you go, "Oh, did he just crow?" Yes. And am I supposed to do something? Yes, just show up. And so that's the reason that's part of my style. And guess what? Are there another million rooster painters out there? Yeah, but I couldn't find any that were doing what I was doing. So what did I do different? I created a character that I thought the eye showed him mischievous or serious or sad or something. And then the colors added in that, and then also the position he was in. I decided he'd be a banjo player. No, nobody puts, other than Disney, has put a rooster with a guitar or banjo over the years that I know of. Roger Miller, Golly Wally, Golly Walla Day, from Robin Hood. My point is, he's the Chanticleer, the Coulars, the cockerel who stands up on the post and tells people. He was in the Bible figure that says, before this cock crows 3 times, Peter, you'll deny me. Historically, the rooster's been everywhere. It's on the Protestant churches in Europe. Ireland probably has a few. The Catholic churches have a lot of crosses. The Protestant churches have a rooster. Remember, don't deny the truth. And so the process is all those things historically, and then the fact that my name meant rooster, it made me want to paint them. But I added one more piece that I didn't see in a lot of art. I saw it in cartoons, but why couldn't I combine kind of a serious, whimsical piece of art with a caption that showed them telling my storytelling or my sense of humor? And that was what I grew up with. So now you know the reason that I want you to push toward a style. Push toward a style. Push toward a style. Flowers, birds, bees, faces. Some of you are so good at portraits and faces, but you just can't paint a portrait and hope that it'll sell. But narrow in on your audience. Narrow in on who you want to have this. There are billions of people in the world, but most of them will never be your customers. So if you feel like you're going to paint a small vase with a flower in it, or even what I've been working on today, and this is what made me think of Donna. I'm always using the word ruby, and I painted a coloring book called Robots. Here's a sample copy that I have, but no. But I hadn't painted a robot bee until yesterday. Or I hadn't even painted it yet. I just drew this robot bee, and I thought, that's funny, because I think there are some robot bees that Japanese companies have been working on for cross-pollination. Now, there's an expensive project. So for me, I thought, ooh, there's something. And guess how many people are going to want this? Just one somewhere, maybe out of 30. We go, ooh, robots, I'm into robots. But same thing with, why did this sell? It's robots. Nah, everybody loves robots. Kids love robots, and kids love farm equipment. And so when you get a rooster that's dressed up like a fire truck, you got something. And so for whatever it is, how many people are going to want your daisy in a small cup? Maybe it's 10. So narrow that market and go toward those people and make sure they have it. And then they talk about your art. If you want to sell art, that's some of the stuff that I do in the Patreon class, and I push them quite a bit. So I meet people each week who say to me, gosh, I wish I could paint. I wish I could sketch. I wish I could draw. I wish I had not stopped when I was young. I wish I kept up my art supplies. I wish I had done what I learned in college about the arts. I wish I had moved forward with that. I meet people each week, no kidding, each week. Oh, did you draw that? They walk by my table and I'm in a restaurant and they go, did you just paint that? And I'm going like, no, I almost want to satirically say, no, I just bring my artwork in and I eat here because it cost me $30 to get this little piece of meat. And then I like to sell my art to pay for my meal. And they go, you're so funny. And I go, no, I'm being serious. And then I'm not, though, really. And of course I did. And I painted because I like to give away some of my paintings. And they go, I wish I could do that. And I go, how bad do you wish that? Okay. So you folks, Bob Ross was right. It really is not about the art. It's about connecting in some form or fashion. So we were talking about Hobby Lobby last week. And just walk through the place and you'll go, boy, there's a lot of people doing a lot of different things. And so everybody doesn't want what you do. Everybody doesn't even like roosters, and yet I still paint them. And I paint honeybees and shrimp and lobsters and all sorts of crazy stuff. But I wanted you to hear that from me this morning. I made some notes. Identify the people who pass through and in your world and think, wow. And that's why some of you go out to art pop-up shows and you put some pieces out there. And sometimes you're going to have to realize that folks are going to walk by and just kind of go, oh, I don't get it. That's okay. Everybody doesn't get my art either. People go, isn't that big, tall guy that used to tell stories and now he just paints roosters? What's the matter with him? It doesn't bother me at all. Okay. Chris Whitaker says, just keep at it. Today's Saturday. I don't know if Cheap Joe's is open today or not. Maybe they are open on Saturday. I think they're closed on Monday, Skeeter. Do you with your art, don't fall into the comparison trap. Do you with your art, he says. Okay, do you with your art. John Robert Small says, best time to plant an oak tree is 20 years ago. Yes. You know, that's there's such a great story there, man. The men who make cooperers who make barrels for whiskey. You know, the French oak, some of those were planted 100 years before they actually cut them down to make, and they just kept processing. So there would be trees that were 100-year-old French oak. And so you think, hey, let's go get a 100-year-old oak. And you go, we should have planted it 100 years ago. And so John Robert Small there, that you're planting those oaks, not the oaks of today were planted yesterday, but the second best time to plant is right now. So if you want to learn to paint now, start painting. So people will say, how long have you been painting? You say, oh, just a few months. Oh my goodness, you're going to stay at it? Well, of course I am. But most people don't. They just sort of trail off, and they wind up the fishing line and they hang the rod up. And I say that talking to myself. There's my fly rod, and I haven't even dipped it in the water in probably 5 years. Why? Because I care more about my art than I do fishing now. But there was a time when any chance I get, I'd run and wet a fly in the river. And I loved it. I love tying the flies, and I love the color, and I still paint them today. It's become a part of my story. That's not a failure. And I'm not saying because you don't, you fail. But for those of you who really desire to change your style, change your ability, change your hope to do something more with art and use it to connect with people, but also maybe sell some art for supplies or for your grandkids or someone else, or just have fun to connect people with, then push it just a little bit more, okay? Move the piano back in so you walk past it every day. Get your art place a little closer and a little messier or a little easier to pick up the tools and go with it. That's my big old lesson for the day. Do you have another book coming out soon? Maybe. Rue, have you ever painted a Bible story? Yes, I have. Deborah, I'll share that on Rue's Crew. I did paint that story, and I painted that rooster up on a column. And I've been to Gallicantu, which is the city where Peter was, and I've also been to the Garden Tomb, not far away from where they think the rooster crowed. And there's always some old columns sitting around Israel, and because of the torn down things, and they weren't 2,000 years old, but the Romans were phenomenal builders, and so some of that marble and some of that granite still stands. And I painted a column with a rooster on it there, and he's just, you can see he's straining his neck out. And so I do have that somewhere. Yes, I have painted that. Let's see if there's any other questions here that I want to get to this morning. It's Saturday morning, so that's the only one I see popped up right now. Boom. All right, let's go back up here. Jason says, fear of a blank page canvas could stop artists from starting. You bet. And so Linda said our waitress at the lake yesterday was JoJo, and I left her a cute bookmark with a tip. See, you just made someone's day. And they just walked away saying, I don't know really who that lady was, but what a giving soul. And it will change how she serves the world. Boom. Barbie Wade says, hey, Rue, my mom's watching on Margie Alderman. Margie, welcome to Roodoodles, whatever it is that I do. I'm not sure what it is, my friend. Sometimes I actually paint. Let's paint something right now. I'm using the Kilimanjaro this morning. I did hear back from Deanne Anderson and Hobby Lobby, who said, wow, watched your show. Thank you very much for the shout out. And today I think I should paint I'm going to turn this piece of paper over here. This is 140-pound Kilimanjaro. It's 100% rag cotton. I love this paper. It's very bright white. I'll worry about cutting those little tabs off later. And I just thought I'd grab how about a fountain pen and just do a Roo here real quick. I need some music to paint with this morning. Okay, going fly fishing. I love making cards, giving most away. Lori Stanley Handelmeyer Henderson. I love making cards, she says, but I dislike pricing. Yeah, you know what? Win-win. Look at what other people are selling for and decide whether you want to make it the same, a little higher, a little less. If you love something, put a higher price on it. If you want to move something, move something. You know, I do the same thing, but a worker's worth his wages, and when you feel like your art is comparable or better than some that's out there, just make it fair. I would rather disperse my art for marketing at a fair price than I would try to market too high and then pack it up and sell it all home and go, wait, I paid for the booth, I paid for the art show, I paid for the fuel, it cost me my time, and I've got all of my art in my studio again. So, but also remember, you're in the beginning stages of being an artist, and people have to know who you are, and then you have to build a little bit of demand for your market. Not everybody that walks through an art show is your customer. Maybe only 1 out of 25. It's the gallery thing. People say, hey, your roosters would be great in a gallery. And I'm saying, like, okay, 2 people have told me that. Have y'all ever gone in that gallery and bought a painting? Well, no. Oh, okay. So you're just thinking that are you trying to help me? Because if you want to help me, just buy this painting. And they go, well, you see what I'm saying? So I'm just that old guy sometimes who says things like that. And people go, well, I guess you're right. And I'm going like, what do you paint? Well, I don't paint anything. Okay, so you don't paint anything, but you're telling me how to sell my art. So what I'm doing is I'm doing the same thing, except I paint things and I sell my art sometimes. And I sell originals inexpensively. Why? Well, because they don't take me forever to create. I'm not that grand. I just splash some paint around. I paint something that connects, and people say, that makes me smile. I connect to it. I want it. That's what sells art. So make your art quick and easy and fun, and something that somebody would say, I've got a place for that in my house. Boom. What am I doing? Some days I ask myself that question right here. Let me show you this painting that I did the other day. This was the one that I finished for DN, and I'm sending this to Hobby Lobby. There it is right there. I want you to see it dry. This is on their paper, by the way. And take a look. It's not hardly as bright as the Kilimanjaro, but by golly, it is pretty close. And I'm telling you, I'm happy with the surface. So it's a inexpensive paper, has a great weight to it. Feels a little different because, I'll tell you why, it's because it doesn't have rag cotton, but I still love the hard lines in it that it'll create. That's with a little experience of water, how to use the right water. It says, thank you for the paper. And so I don't care if she keeps it, sells it, sends it away, or hangs it in her office and says, hey, we make a difference in artists' lives. But there it is right there. That's going to be mailed to her this week in Oklahoma. So that's where they are. And I think I might need to just add some grass strips in there just like this and darken up these toenails a little bit. Remember, I painted this pretty quickly on the show. Add a little brush hairs in here just like this with a fountain pen. Maybe come in and just shadow a little bit right in here. You know, there's all kinds of things you can do. Maybe some eyelashes. Love that. Okay, so maybe a little bit here, and then quit. Back off. Put the brush down and back away from the easel. That's the painting that's going out. But I want you to see this finish because I think it's worked out really well. And it was painted on a piece of paper, same as this shrimp, just a different little touch of different water. And this is the paper right here. It's called, what is it called? Man, it's creative. It's called watercolor paper. But it's the Master's Touch paper, and it's $6.99. And I hear that every other week, is it every other week or something? They put their papers on for the Master's Touch paper for half price. So if you have a Hobby Lobby, run down there and load up. Here's the thing. Don't just buy one pad, for heaven's sakes. Buy 2 at least so you can mess one up and then learn on it to really paint the other. And for that kind of money, you can sell some art. I think this is not the right piece of paper. That's not it either. Where is it? Ah, here it is right here. Nope, that's not it either. Why don't I just show you the piece of paper? Here it is. Yeah, it has just a little different different feel to it. The paper that I really, this is it right here. Boom, there it is. And so you can see how this little bit of the tracking of the paper comes in. I kind of like that though. This is much better than the first paper that I painted from them was. And so I'm going to keep this around here, and I'm going to use it some more. And we'll go from there. I like this painting though. I think they'll be happy with it. I think she'll see how my style works on the paper. Okay. All right. This is Kilimanjaro. So change back to Kilimanjaro, which is Cheap Joe's. This is Preston, London, cold press, 100 pound rag cotton. And let's paint something on it. Okay. Here we go. I'm reading here. Oh, you're welcome, Carl. She's introduced her to this paper. Um, do you have any left, Chris? Oh, go. Progress. I'm so glad you guys are progressing. I just love it so much. Yeah, and that you look. Don't ever look at. I mean, how many artists are rich? You know, my brother used to say only the famous poets and artists are the dead ones. So you can hold off on that a little bit, okay? If you want to know what art is and that dives you into a deep hole, my daughter has just created a catalog. That's over 135 or 40 pages of her art portfolio that is being released in fabrics, and it's taken her. She said, "I think it's taken me 5 years." No, it's taken me 17 years, because you got to realize when she started designing this stuff, and so we're going to see how that goes. But I'll keep you posted on that project. All right, let's do something here. A little roo. Got to do this roo right here because it's one of my favorite 4th of July roos. Here it is, right here. See where I'm going already. Did my pen just quit right there? I will tell you this about Kilimanjaro paper, okay? It is, you never see me doing rooster tails that are like this symmetrical looking with all the lines being straight, so you know something must be up, right? Yeah, that's right. A couple of you have this painting, you have one like it, and so I just thought I'd do this one today. Love painting this foot out here like this. It's sort of not really a trademark, but a little bit of a trademark for me that I love doing. Why? I love the rooster holding something in his foot, and so that's kind of why I do it out there. It just also gives me a little chance for him to be a little more in the story world, because now he connects with people. And so I think that's really fun when your roosters connect with people, or your flowers. If your flowers, you know, your bees. My bees all say something. That was a messy star I did right there. What was I thinking? I don't know. Apparently nothing. Okay, so there's a piece going down like that. That's enough stars right there. A little bit of a earth underneath here, and then let's bring this out like this, and then let's put an apple box in here. You know how I'm about apple boxes. I love to have apple boxes in my paintings. If you ever want to send me an email on a question, you see it right there, roodoodles@gmail.com. It's also right there on my, down here on the bottom of the page. So you can send me an email there if you ever say, hey, and I try to get to them most of the time. But a lot of rich artists out there, but if you support your habit, you're doing great. And Denise Albright has said, it is most rewarding when some people send you a picture where they place the art in their home. How cool would it be that your painting becomes a new cover of Hobby Lobby paper? Yeah, that might be fun. Yeah, okay. All right, y'all can send them a note. June Joe's making cards is a ministry of mine, and I've made for my garden club to sell to make money for scholarships. Hey, I think that's a great thing. June, you do some great stuff. What's the most powerful connecting piece of art that you created? Jason, what a great question. I think the most powerful piece has to do with hope. How about that? I don't think it's original comment, but I think it's kind of, I've been saying it so long in my own life and my own art, and of course how I feel about hope in general. I feel like we live in a world that it's easy for us to lose hope today, and we go, oh my gosh, the news is terrible, turn it off. The gas prices are too high. It is what it is. But don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. You know, if you lose hope, maybe it's time to go to Clarkston, Georgia, and walk through the international city of the Afghan city there that's in Yemen, and the people who had lost all hope until they were hopeful to come to a place where they're getting a fresh start and they're learning to be a community again. Or go to Africa for 10 days and watch what happens when you take a T-shirt to some kids who don't have anything. So a lot of our problems are first world problems, and so I will say that. And so what I'm saying is, one of my favorite roosters that I paint is a big rooster, and he's crowing. His chest is sort of puffed out a little bit, and he's bright, he's colorful, and the caption is, when the rooster crows, hope dawns. And you think that wasn't true biblically when it crowed in Peter, but it did. It pointed out what was wrong, and then his life had to change because of that. And so it's an awakening call. So when that rooster crows, most of us think it crows in the morning. Oh, the rooster crowed in the morning. And so when we think the rooster crows, hope dawns. So your point is, you look out and you go, haha, sun's shining. Oh my gosh, I can have hope today. A lot of people lay down, don't know whether they'll wake up or not. And a lot of people don't know. But today I have the ability to maybe make a difference. So when that's been one of my favorite pieces that I think people have latched onto. And in my world, that's kind of fun because I have several of those. And sometimes Carol will say, hey, I have a friend who loves your artwork and she needs one of your paintings. And she'll say, you know which one. And so I have several of Carol's friends who have that painting in their home. One lady who just fought through cancer and said, I think she needs that right now. It says, when the rooster crows, hope dawns. So do you do something like that? Flowers can do that when people get a bouquet. So what about some painted flowers? And so that's kind of, Jason, that's a good question. Thank you. Is there something that creates that connection? But what I found too is that any little piece of personalized artwork that says their name on it, or happy birthday, or hey, I was thinking of you, will do the same thing in a heartbeat. And so I think those are pretty magical times of getting hope to spring forth out of something. So sounds like I'm giving you a sermon, but I think you know that pontificating about art and sermon giving are right about on the same platform. It doesn't take long to go from one to the other because, well, art stirs our soul like good music, and I think that's pretty fun to hear and see. So that's kind of one of the things. I realize I'm talking with a brush in my mouth. That guy has such poor etiquette. Who's he think he is? Sound like Jim Gaffigan, huh? Oh, if they tell me one more time to paint that rooster. And I get some interesting emails from people who have ideas. Hey, I saw this idea today. You should paint this. And I'll go, now you paint it. And they go, I can't paint. I go, well, there's a problem. So see, I just have a comeback for everything because that's how I'm wired. My mother called me a smart aleck many times, and she was probably right. I didn't mean to be, but my brain just fired so quickly that I could come up with crazy things to say. And so I've been doing that since I was knee-high to, pick one, grasshopper, fire hydrant. Okay, so see how fast that worked? Look, those stars didn't have to be perfect. I wasn't trying to make them perfect. I wasn't trying to make these lines perfect either. As a matter of fact, I probably even won't make them perfect as I paint them, but that's not a big deal either, is it? No. In fact, I didn't even count them or even worry if they were right. I could have probably done this without the lines, but then I thought, well, you wouldn't have been able to see what I was doing. You would now. But I started that way, so I'm just going to continue here. I'm going to make another one go down here. I'm going to make another one here that there's not even a line for. And I think I'm going to create one above this right here like this and go down. And so now I have this great little, you see what's happened there? All right, let's go in here with some yellow paint. And let's see if we can find a little piece of music here that just, I don't have any patriotic music queued up, but I'm sure my kids will create something for me. What? What was I thinking? Well, somebody should have stopped me. Hey, dummy. That's funny. What happened to my music? I put on something I didn't hear play. There it is. I painted the wattles yellow. And I went to paint the beak and went, no, that's not right. You're thinking and not painting, or you're painting and not thinking, or you're doing something that's not right. All right, so there we go. A little yellow, just right here on the beak. Come in like this. Just touch a little of this here. And then I'm going to need a little leg color here. Let's just go in and get a little bit of this right here. Didn't finish this painting on purpose. Why? I made it a lot harder to draw because now I left myself over here something I wanted to draw. But I didn't do that because I just love the fact that some of you are thinking, what's this and what's he going to do and what is that all about? And so I'm leaving a little bit of what the artist would call reveal. It's what you don't do in the TV show until the last chapter. I'm reading a book right now that has me a little bit intrigued. I don't know where Charles is going to end it. I don't know if you know my friend Charles Martin. He's a novelist out of Jacksonville, Florida. Charles and I were coffee buddies for many, many years. He's much younger than I, but I used to meet with him every Tuesday morning for about a year. And he wanted to be a storyteller and writer. The family wanted him to come into the insurance business. And look at that, a brand new Pentel 05. I just took the wax tip off of the pen. Boom. Love this. It's the inner gel. That's what I sketch with most of the time. So let's go for it. Sorry, I was reading. All right, here we go. Little apple box here, got a opening right here, some slats in it. There we go. Look at that. Huh? It looks like a wooden milk crate, but it's an apple box. Trust me, apple boxes are still my favorite box for telling stories on. Want to do a quick flag. This 4th of July, here's the best way to do it, just like this. Look, just grab a little brush, like something like this. Go in here and paint this whole block in blue. Woo-hoo-hoo! Just like that right there. Okay. and then take a little bit out if you want to. Look at that, see that? And then just grab some of that red and go here, and then go here and here and here. And that's all you need to do to just create a little flag that's kind of worn, torn, and well used, which is the way they all should be. I had to go unfurl mine last night. It gets all wound up out there like there's a gust of wind that hits against the house and spins it. And either that or the chipmunks have been coming up there doing it. I'm not sure which. So, excuse me. All right, and I ordered my drugs. Somebody told me about some new drugs that are coming in today to try and knock all this sinus stuff out that I have. It's just driving me batty. And so I'm working on that, so I don't sound like I'm always a morning DJ. Now a little brown right here. Look at this. I'm using this brown, then I'm also just grabbing this paper towel and daubing some of it out. I think that's the official painting word, daub. Daub it out a little bit. I want to come in here and just grab a little bit of green underneath. I'm going to grab some blue sky here. Blue sky smiling at me. Nothing but blue sky do I see. And this painting has a caption that I did several years ago. I painted this. I painted this one time summer a few years ago, sitting in the museum in Washington, D.C. I was there on the 4th of July, as a matter of fact. And wow, what a show those guys knock out. And I happened to be there several years ago. Look, what I would do in this case is that I'm going to let that blue dry a little bit right in the flag, and then I'm going to come in there and create some stars. I'm just going to do that, I think, with a white ink fountain pen, or a white ink pen. And just white ink will do sometimes just give you a little spot that you need, and you don't need everything. You just need a little touch of that. So this painting is going to have a little caption. I need to create an eye for this little one peep right here that doesn't have his eye. There's the one, and there's the other one right there. And then just some little tail feathers, scraggliness. You see, he's got his hand coming across the wrong way, but you wouldn't see it if it went the other way because they're facing that direction. So I wanted to have a little bit of salute from the peeps. There's a little bit of a spur on the back of the rooster. You know, I mean, roosters got spurs. Maybe just a little bit of wear and tear here. Just going in with my pen and marking over the, sometimes you see what I did there? I just drug it over here and cleaned off the tip of my pen. You know, don't think you're going to, if you ruin a $2 pen painting a $20 painting, it's okay. It works out. But I think most of the time, the reason I love Energel, Pentel, they're not a sponsor yet, nor will they ever be. They just can't, and who they are and where this pen's made. We've had that conversation. And so, but I still love their pens. This pen really does. The reason I use this pen is I love the liquid gel ink. I love the way it bleeds. I love the color it bleeds, but I also love the fact that the ink does, the pigment of the watercolor doesn't have to be completely dry for me to mark on it. So I hope you're picking up little things like that I try to teach you in the show. I love these little stars to have some wrinkles in them. I don't want them to be too pristine. I don't want my art to look like it was perma-pressed or bought at Target. Okay, I want it to look like I fiddled around with it, noodled, doodled, and piddled on it until I got what I was looking for. And sometimes I just don't even need to go get the black ink. I'll just take it right here and make it work like this. When you see me do this, it means that this is still pretty wet over here, and I'm coming in to just get some, clean out the tip of my pen. This was a brand new pen, so I'm breaking it in the hard way. Could have used another one, but I didn't. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Okay, let's grab this, this right here. This is a white ink pen. There it's writing a little bit. Look, I'm just going to go in here and do some little daubs like this, da, 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 and there's my stars, and they're in there. You can actually almost see them, even at that distance. They're there. Okay, so what's the caption on this say? It's going to say, your dad is so cool. You should see him when the wind blows. All right, Roodoodles. Michael July 2022. There it is right there. Let's put some splatters on that. And there it is right there. All right. I'm going to throw that out there today. And since I'm going to have to buy some new pins, I'm going to auction it off. I'm going to start it at there's some lovely scissors that I have there, huh? Yeah, these are made by Noah. He was cutting fabric for the seats, the elephant seats in the ark, apparently. Okay. All right. So there's my little painting for today. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post that out on my page this morning, and I'll just throw it out there, and I'll start it at I don't know. I'll start it at $8.57. And when I put it up on YouTube or on Facebook this morning, I will. You need new scissors too. What's wrong with it? You don't like my scissors? These are for cutting tomato twine from the garden. Yeah, I don't cut these with scissors. I usually use a pocket knife. You usually see me do this, right? But my paper's getting thin down here, and when I cut, I usually cut through 2 pages, and so I couldn't afford to do that today. I sound like a crybaby. Okay. It's about time to go make some biscuits, feed some grandkids, and there's my little painting for today. Your dad is so cool, you should see him when the wind is blowing. Okay, so it's a little patriotic. I've got some Stars and Bars tennis shoes that I'll post a little later today, but I'm going to post this as soon as we're finished with the show. Let's auction it now, Karen Bender says. Skeeter Pal says 8:57. All right, 6 minutes. We'll auction it now. Anybody interested? There it is. We'll roll it. Here we go. Y'all are crazy people. All right, here we go. Skeeter can get it for $8.57. All right. All right, there's a little auctioning music. So it's on the auction block right now. 2057, Kim Lawson says. So it's $20 right now. Hey, the auction has started. Listen. There's the ding-a-ling. $10, $25 from Denise Albright. I got 25. I got 15. 25 is the bid right now. 1776 won't do it. It's up to 25. I've got Jamie Ziegler for $100. Jamie, did you put the right amount of zeros? Just going to double check. You jumped way out there, and you could be the leader. Just want to double check with you. Jamie, make sure you put $100 for real, okay? I appreciate it. I love it. Right now I have Jamie. It's going to go. I've got 2 more minutes in the auction here. Let me throw up an auction timer, and so we'll get really crazy here, so I won't waste all your time this morning. Where's my auction timer? I have it somewhere here. Let's see. Yes, Jamie says. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do a 2-minute countdown starting right now. Where is it? There it is. See it? 154. We're going to drive it right over here in the middle of this painting. All right. Got 1 minute and 49 seconds left. The bid is $100. 45 Virginia man won't do it. It's going to take you another 60 to beat her. $100 from Jamie. She said yes. That's it. Dang, didn't squeeze enough lemons this morning. All right. So 2 little peeps standing on an apple box. I got to put some nails in the apple box. So I'm going to go do that right here with my little Pentel pen. I like little nails sticking out the side. Love it, and just keep doing little details. That just makes me laugh all the way. I've got 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Whose idea was this? Was this yours, Karen? Karen said, let's auction it now. I'm a crazy person. Why not? $44 seconds, if you can see it up there. 44 seconds in the rooster himself. I got $100 off for an original Sea City sketch. All right, we're down to 29 seconds. If you're going to bid, now's the time to do it, because what would happen is there's a latency on the email. I may not get it in time. By the way, I've got one more thing to hold you on the show this morning. I think Jamie just bought a rooster. I believe she did too. You could do another one or post for auction today. All right, I may do one more if I have a little time this morning. We'll put it out there and post another one. And Jamie, there's the email underneath the bottom of this page. If you'll email me, I'll tell you what you can do from there. So Jamie, thank you so much. You just bought this painting on Kilimanjaro cotton paper, and voila, blessings to you. 4th of July, painted today. If you want it signed to you, I'll do it. If it's for somebody else, I'll do that too. There it is. It's an apple box for sure. And put a little more grass in there. And then once it dries out, I'll put a little more details right in here, like the little snout. I just got it in there. All right, perfect. All right, so here's the thing. It's there's always a way to add a little jest. It's the first of the month, and you know what happens on the first of the month? I always give a painting away. And so, hold on. So just don't go away. I still got 2 minutes of show left. So here we go. Remember, it's all about the people, and so when you sell one, you can also just sort of give one away. And I'm hoping some of you. I sure hadn't done. Wish I hadn't done that. Somebody needs this little. What number is he? That's not going to work. Maybe you have, here it is right here. Here's a nice little fishing fly that I'm going to mail out to somebody today right here. And so here's what I'm going to do. Ready? Here's all you got to do. I'm going to scroll up and down on my screen. It's first of the month. I always give away original. This is about 4 by 5 by 4, about 20 square inches of painting. It's a fishing fly. It's an original. See there? I'm still writing on it. I'm going to give it away, and I'm scrolling up and down like this, not looking at my screen of all the little names and comments from this morning coming in and out. I'll go to the top. I'll go to the bottom. I'll go back to the top. I'll spin it. I'll spin down. I'm going to find the 3 names that show up. Top one goes out. Bottom one goes out. I'll take the one in the middle. And so boom, 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 and top, bottom, boom. And it's going to be... My gosh, that's a lot of mouthful of names. Teresa Marie Clegg Salvaggio. Teresa Marie Clegg Salvaggio. There you go. Teresa, send me an email at roodoodles@gmail.com. You were right between Mary Hamilton and Susie DeLay. So it takes me a minute to focus. Susie DeLay, Mary Hamilton. The one name in the middle is Teresa Marie Clegg Salvaggio. If you send me this, you can either keep it, gift it. I'm going to put July 2 gift, Teresa Marie Clegg, Salvaggio, free. Send me an address at roodoodles@gmail.com. And Jamie, if you would email me at roodoodles@gmail.com, I will send you information on this. And hey, friend, you're never just a realtor. Your job is to put people in a wonderful home. And that's your answer. No, I connect people with a home to raise their family. Is that cool? This has never been about the art. It's about connecting people. All right. Blessings to you all. Just sold the front porch ready for next time. You are so funny. Happy 4th, everybody. I may paint another one of these and post it a little bit later. Blessings to you all. Thanks for being a part of my world and what I do. Thank you for being a part of Patreon, those of you who jump in. And it's $11.57 to support me monthly. And those classes are 90 minutes long where we drill down and talk about things you can do to change your style, your hope, your art, your everything, and also push you a little bit. You're supposed to be doing some summer journaling. And you're supposed to be finding that new thing that's going to push you through. I talked about it a little bit today. What is that thing that connects you with other people? What is it you want to just experiment on for the next few months and paint 50 of them? Remember, I'm painting 2,000 honeybees, and I'm into it right now for 208. 208. I just painted one yesterday. What did I do with it? I don't know. I threw it out here on the table this morning and I can't find it. But I'm certainly going to finish my robotic one, which I had up here on the desk earlier. So it'll be fun to see how he comes to fruition. I can't find him right now, but he's here, covered over with all these others. So blessings to you all. I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. Have a safe, happy 4th. Love on your family and eat something good. And I'll see you next time right here on Roodoodles. Monday is the 4th. Yes, I think I will be here on the 4th. Tissy, I'll send you the drug in the email.